Everybody, this is Andrew Guy with AndrewGuySpeaks.com, empowering you to create your greatest impact where you live, where you work, and where you play. I have got to stop by and just talk to you, man. It is an amazing day up here. I am back up here in Hamilton, Ontario, on the mountaintop to bring you this motivational, to bring you this inspirational, to bring you this life-transforming little tidbit I wanted to drop into your mind today. Quick view of what's happening around. Look at the clouds. Look at the, oh my goodness, look at the clouds. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's beautiful. But all right, let me stop talking about the clouds. I'm excited today because well, let me start off this way. Have you ever done something that you've never done before? Like, past couple of days I've been doing some crazy stuff, some crazy first time stuff. I went ziplining yesterday. Never done it. I got some video here, capture it on the GoPro. Not really GoPro, but it's a GoPro Lite. It's called the Active On. This is my new GoPro. It's a little bit, well, it's the Active On CX Go Plus. This is really cool camera here. It does everything that the GoPro does, but at a more inexpensive, a more affordable price. All right, more about that later. But I strapped this thing on. I was up 100 feet up in the air, doing some kind of obstacle course and then zip lining across. It was just crazy. Okay, I was going over trees and just some ridiculous stuff that I've never done before. And today I'm coming from canoeing. Canoe? Man, you don't see brothers doing canoe. Sorry. For the brothers that already do canoe, hey, you got one up on me. Never done it before. Today was my first time and it was amazing, challenging. Didn't know it was going to be that long. But we were on the water, on the rivers for 5.5 hours. Did you hear me? 5.5 hours. And it was hard. It was laborious. It was stressful. It was tedious. It was, can we get there? When are we going to get there? Are we there yet? And I'm going to use that same scenario just to talk to you about something very important in life. I got some footage on this on the GoPro here, and I will make sure that I upload them so you can check them out. All right, very important stuff. But let's talk about the life lessons. What I'm doing nowadays, obviously, you know, my videos, my platform is helping you to create your greatest impact where you live, work, and play. And that's basically what it is. So what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, just getting out there and doing some adventurous stuff, obviously maintaining social distance and so forth. But I'm not gonna allow Corona to stop me. And you shouldn't either, as long as you are obeying and making sure that you're following the regulations of what the laws of the land states. That make sure you wear your mask, make sure you're keeping your distance, all that kind of stuff, right? But let's get into it. So what's the life lesson today from going canoeing? It's simply this. On the road of life to success or to your destiny, you can't get out of the boat. You can't get out of the boat. It doesn't matter how much you want to get out of the boat. You cannot get out of the boat. There are times you want to jump out of the boat or wish you can get to your destination. But if you haven't gotten to your destination, you cannot get out of the boat. Today was very, very tiring. Today was very, very challenging for me because I have never gone canoeing before. And I was sitting in this boat for this canoe for 5.5 hours with another gentleman, a bigger guy, bigger than me. And so I have to be paddling for two at times. There were times when he got a little tired and I had to be motivating him, trying to encourage him. And that's like anything in life, right? Sometimes you're gonna have to be the person that motivates the next person to put in a little bit more effort. You're going to have to motivate or encourage the other person, say, hey man, you can do it. You're going to have to motivate and encourage the other person, say, hey, listen man, we're going to get through this together. Because two energy put together, it's better than one energy trying to kill himself or herself. So what's the life lesson? Let me give you the life lesson. So here I am, I'm on the water. There is no way to run. I can't just say, let me get out of the boat. I'm not Jesus, so I can't jump out of the boat and say, I'm going to walk on the water. I am not Peter. I wasn't in the boat with the other disciples. I felt like I was, and sometimes I want to get out of the boat, but I could not get out of the boat. Do you hear what I'm saying? And I'm there, and I'm just, man, at times I was frustrated. I'm telling you, I was frustrated. And I was like, we were paddling, not paddling, but we were paddling. And I'm like, oh, are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm thinking this. I just didn't say it because I know, my paddling partner in the back there, he would have done anything to get the trip over with as soon as possible, ASAP. But there are times in life when you're going to have to be strong for somebody else. And I learned so much about myself today, not taking any credit, but I realized that it was so hard, and because this is something I've never done before, that it's always important. Number one, here are the life lessons. Number one, it's okay to do something new, because when you do something new, you will work another muscle that you didn't know you have. What do I mean by that? My arms are sore, shoulders are sore. I'm talking about back muscles are just sore. But you know what? The soreness was worth it. I'm going to make this comparison. I know you probably don't agree with me, most mothers out there. It's like carrying a baby. It's stressful. I'm saying this because I'm a parent. I didn't carry the baby, but it feels like I was carrying the baby at one times or many times, because I kind of feel some of the stress that, my wife went through when she was carrying our son. The swollen ankles, I didn't have him, but I felt the pain. I was rubbing the ankles and so forth. Some of the stresses that she had or experienced, she would transfer some of them to me. So we helped bear some of it. I wasn't the one that pushed the baby out or anything like that, but I was there all the way until my sons, both of them, came out. So dads, if you're one of those individuals that hung in there, stuck in there while the mother of your child was pushing that child out, kudos to you. So I say that it doesn't matter how much or how heavy or how painful or how stressful the journey is to bringing a child into the earth, you just can't quit. It didn't matter how stressful, how tired I was today. I couldn't get out of the boat and say, hey, I want to get this over. There was nowhere to go. Everywhere around me was simply water. So life lesson number two. Number one was, it's okay to do something new, because when you do something new, you learn something new about yourself. Life lesson number two. The end is near. The end is near, but you're not there yet. The end is near, but you're not there yet. What do I mean by that? Sometimes it's so difficult to see the end. You have to just imagine it in your mind. You have to go somewhere deep. You got to go way down inside your inner person and say, you know what? I'm not there yet, but I'm going to mentally go there and dream. I'm going to go into my mind and I'm going to try to celebrate. And just that imaginary celebration is enough to help you to get to where you need to go. That's what happened today. I had to really dig deep. I looked around me. There was nothing but water. And I looked to my right, I looked to my left, I looked behind me. My partner was trying to do his best, as I've been trying to encourage him along the way. And he was trying his best. The only way we got through this was we looked at trees and I said, okay, fine. For the next 5 trees, we're going to paddle hard. And then after, you can take a break. For the next 10 trees, we're going to paddle with a medium paddle effort. And then for the next 3 trees, we're going to let it rip. And it didn't matter how fast or how slow you went. It was the same distance. Even if I decided to speed up, It didn't matter because you can only go as fast as the next person paddles. The next life lesson. Patience, patience, patience. Sometimes you'll be put in a situation, you'll be put in a position where you're gonna have to have patience. You're gonna have to wait, even though you don't want to wait. You're gonna have to wait. You gotta have to wait. It's like a cake in the oven. You cannot take it out before it's baked. You have to wait until the cake is baked. And the baking process is the hardest part because it's when you're putting all the ingredients and the ingredients have now given up and release all the flavor that it has inside and said, okay, I'm going to give up myself, give up my ingredients so you can taste the cake. And if you don't go through that baking process, I tell you what, my friend, you will never partake of the cake. Same thing like being on the water. I had to go to the process of paddling and paddling and paddling and paddling some more, but still I had to wait until I get to the end. When I got to the end, after 5.5 hours of not taking a tinker or peeing, doing a number one, it was so hard. That's the first thing I did. As soon as I got out of the canoe, I got on land, I said, Lord, thank you, Jesus. I said, thank you. Got out and I went to the potty, and I tell you, man, I was peeing for a good 2 minutes straight. I'm telling you, my bladder was full. I don't know if it was just because of looking at that water, so much water for such a long time, but it was full. So, life lesson number 1. We said that you got to do something new. Life lesson number 2. We're saying that you're going to have to be strong. You can't jump out of the boat. You got to wait. You got to go through it. Life lesson number 3, you're going to have patience. Yes, they say patience is a virtue, but man, if you haven't been through anything, if you've never been through anything, you wouldn't understand what I'm talking about. I use the analogy of having a baby or mother carrying a baby and you sticking it out with that mother, dads, to making sure that you're there with her every step of the way. Good dads do that kind of stuff. That's life lesson number 3. You're going to have to stick to it. In education, because my background is in education, because I was a science teacher for many years, we call it stick to with-itness. Stick to with-itness. You might have it might be a tongue twister for many. Stick to with-itness. That means you have to stick to it. Doesn't matter if you go through the mess. Stick to it until. It's like bearing all the burdens with the end in mind. And that's number 4. Number 4 said, begin with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. Run with the end in mind. Or in our canoe perspective, paddle with the end in mind. It is the end in mind that's going to get you where you got to go. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to the person that's watching this. I'm telling you, there are times when you want to quit in life, but just that glimpse of, man, imagine if I finish it, what it would be like. And sometimes that's exactly what you got to do. You got to stick to it. You got to keep that vision of, oh man, I'm almost there. And you know what you got to do? You have to have some kind of celebration in your head. You got to plan. You got to come up and say, okay, when I finish this, hey, this is what I'm going to do. As soon as I get out of this, this is what I'm going to do. You got to have one of those, when I'm done, I'm going to make sure I do this. It's like, I've heard the song that says party like it was like 1999. When I get out of this, I am going to party. I don't know what you do for partying, but for me, I would normally go and run a 5K or something like that because that's a treat for me. I would just put on my runners and I go run for a couple hours. And then when I come back, I'm like, I'm going to try to beat my time that I ran last week or last month. And that's me personally. It's a personal challenge for me. So that's normally what I use for my treat. So whatever or however you treat yourself, that could be an end in mind. Another thing that I may think about is after I finish, I may say, you know what? I'm going to go visit mom. Are we going to sit down? We're going to have one of them long conversation over some nice Jamaican fried dumpling with some ackee and saltfish with a nice cup of Horlicks, hot Horlicks, or Milo tea. That's a treat for me. So you got to think about the treat. How are you going to treat yourself? How are you going to celebrate when you get to the end of what you're going to do? That's what you got to do. And just thinking about the end is enough to help keep you going. And lastly, you're going to have to take a leap of faith. Oh, yes. A leap of faith. And I want to talk about faith. I'm not talking about the religious stuff. I'm not talking about the stuff that they're preaching in the church. I'm not talking about just attending the church and sitting on the pew Sunday after Sunday, and then after you still haven't have any result and you have nothing to show for the time that you spend. I think that it doesn't matter where your walk is or what level you are in your walk. The spiritual life, basically, it is the engine that determines how far and how fast and how much you accomplish in life. I'm not here to judge you. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but me personally, I believe that there's a God, I have a creator, and he gives me the ability to do all things because he said all things are possible. All right? Not here to preach to you because I'm not a preacher. I am just a voice. I sound like John sometimes, a voice in the desert saying that keep going, keep going, keep going. I feel like I am the water boy in that movie. When the guy said, don't remember his name slips me, is the one that says, you can do it, you can do it. His name is in my mouth, I just cannot say it. It's a movie that starred Adam Sandler. There's another guy, I can't remember his name, but anyway, if you remember his name, post a name inside the comment box and let me know what his name was. But he's the one that keeps saying, you can do it. Well, you need some of those people in your life. You need some of those people like me to tell you, hey, you can do it. Doesn't matter what you're going through, you can do it. As a matter of fact, it's not that you can do it, you must do it. Because if you don't do it, then who else is going to do it? Nobody else. So I need you to know that you can do it. So number 5 was you gotta begin with the end in mind, run with the end in mind, walk with the end in mind, and you got to take that leap of faith. The leap of faith basically is really understanding that if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then there could be hundreds, there could be thousands, there could be millions of people that is waiting on the thing that you're supposed to create. It could be a product you're supposed to create. It could be a cure for some kind of evil disease that they've unleashed upon society or unleashed upon a community, unleashed upon the world, and you're supposed to be the one to have the vaccine. It could be a book that you're supposed to write to tell the world about how to do something spectacular, or how to do something, or how to overcome something, how to overcome a challenge. I don't know what it is. You know what it is. The Creator put that in you. It's something that you got to do because you can't sleep. It just keeps you up at night. That's that thing. You know what that thing is. And so I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you today. You got to take your leap of faith. And I'm going to end off in this. This is a great movie. I love it. I watched it so many times. I'm telling you, it was on VHS, and I've watched it so much that I'm telling you, the tape just stretched out and it doesn't play anymore. I had to go get it on DVD. What's the name of that movie? It's with my buddy. What's his name? Harrison Ford. And the movie is called Indiana Jones. How could it slip me? That's one of my favorite movies. That was one of my top 10 favorite movies. The other one was Ratatouille, by the way. I watched it with my boys, right? And the other one was Lion King. But anyway, I wrote about the Lion King. The Lord gave me this really amazing analogy, and I put it in the book. So if you haven't picked up my book, Work Your Words, go pick it up. It's amazing. It's on Amazon.com, or you can go to AndrewGuySpeaks.com. But anyway, one of my favorite movie right there is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusaders. I'm telling you, there's a part in the movie, it's a leap of faith. It's like looking at this mountain right here. I'm not saying go jump off any mountain, all right? So don't get it twisted, all right? Your life is too important, and don't jump off any mountain, because it doesn't matter what stress you're going through. Find somebody that you can talk to. Find somebody that you trust. It could be a mother, it could be a father, it could be a brother, a sister, a family member. It doesn't matter. It could even be a stranger or your doctor. Find somebody that you can talk to. Don't end your life, okay? There's great things ahead of you. Yes, you may have gone through some crazy stuff, but I want you to look at your life like this. You see that line right there? That's that line. So what's going to happen is simply this. You got to step over that line. After I step over that line, look there. See my shadow? See my shadow? I stepped over that line, so that simply means everything that has I have already been through, it's behind me. It's a line. And there is a line everywhere on planet Earth. There's a line everywhere. And once you step across that line, everything is behind you. Leave the stuff that's behind you and look forward to where you're going. Because guess what? There are other lines ahead that you're going to have to cross. Does that make sense? So you got to keep stepping. Keep crossing those lines, because every time you cross a line, you're triumphant. Say, wow, I got over that line. So what about getting over the next one? And every line that you cross has its different challenges. It's just like going zip lining, which I'm going to show that video to you, all right? So I'll pop it up, so make sure you guys go and check it out when I post it. And it's simply amazing, all right? So a leap of faith. You're going to have to step out. You're going to have to step off. As a matter of fact, speaking of leap of faith, when I finished the obstacle course, the last part of the obstacle course from the zip lining, you got to jump. It was crazy. Listen, I'm keeping it real. Your boy was scared. Yes, I was. I'm not going to go jump off some 80 feet tall contraption talking about I'm trying to get a thrill. I can go have some of mama's cooked dumplings and some fried chicken, or I may have some ackee and saltfish. I'm telling you, hey, I'd rather have that if I want to have a thrill. Do you hear what I'm saying? Okay? Or my favorite cup of tea, Horlicks or Milo, hot, steaming hot. So if I want a thrill, I would go do that, but I don't need that kind of thrill. But after I finished the obstacle course, guys, I came to the end. And it says, you got to jump. And here's the crazy part. There was a lady standing way down there. I couldn't even see her. Couldn't tell the texture of her hair. That's how far it looked to me from up there. And she said, you got to jump. I said, I got to jump. You must be crazy. And I said, crazy. 3 words. She said, yes, sir. That's the only way you're going to be able to finish the obstacle course. I said, what? I sat there. I'm thinking it's almost like mental suicide. I got to forget about everything that I know that I do to protect myself and my safety. Wait, I forgot. No one told me that I had to jump at the end. I only figured this out. I found this out when I got to the end. I sat there. I was nervous. I was scared. I'm keeping it real. Palms are sweating. I looked down and the earth went like a woo-woo, 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 woo-woo. And I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, oh, God. You know. I don't know if God was listening to me at that time, because when I said, oh, man, it's like, I know he's saying, I didn't get you up there. But it's going to take a leap of faith for you to come back to the ground. I had to jump. I had to make up my mind, forget about everything that I know, and then I had to grab onto this little itty bitty rope and jump. And then I jumped, and then something, when I was going down, boom, all of a sudden, something grabbed me. Same thing like the Indiana Jones. I know I'm talking about this, I'm really beating this down, but I want to make sure you get it. Above all, the life lessons I've talked to you about, faith is what makes it happen. And faith is seeing that thing. It's the substance of things. The Bible once said it, and the Bible still says it. It's the substance of things hoped for. The substance is what it's made of. As you look at this iron right here, it's made of something, it has substance in it. And we are substance. We have substance in us. The people that transform the world are the ones that have the substance in us. The people that do great things are the ones that have the substance. What's your substance? So I'm asking you, do you have the substance in you to go the extra mile? Do you have the substance in you when they say you can't? Do you have the substance in you when they say you're not going to be anything? Do you have the substance in you when it seems like you're going to fail, and then they say, oh, you can't even start that next business? Do you have the substance in you when all the chips are down and your company is about to fail, or you failed, or you've been turned down over 100 times, like one of my favorite author, Jack Canfield, but he kept going, right? And Chicken Soup for Somebody's Soul was published. I wonder who I'm talking to today. It's gonna take some faith. I'm not talking about this religious, going to church, sitting on the pew, warming the pew and getting up and talking about faking it till you make it or name it and claim it. I don't think so. How I got down the river, I had to paddle. I had to work it. You have to work, just like the book. You got to work your words. Stop talking, yap, 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 and doing nothing. You got to get out there and you got to do it. What do we call this? It's called belief. Belief is what you live. You may have all the faith in the world, but you're going to have to believe something. You, guess what? You become what you think, but you live what you believe. Most people are saying they got faith, but when you see their life, you wonder if they really have faith, because faith is a substance. And the greatest thing about a substance, it always produces stuff. Substance is like a seed, and it always produces after its own kind. I thought that was very important. After its own kind. So if you have the seed of cherry in you, you should be producing some cherry. If you have the seed of mango in you, you should be producing something. If you have the seed of hope, you should be producing some hope. If you have the seed of joy and happiness, you should be producing something. If you have the seed of community, the seed of leadership, you have got to be producing something. That's how it works. So I'm going to ask you, what's in you? What's inside of you? Do you have the seed? Do you have the substance? It is the substance, when it's manifested, that will produce the fruit. I want to encourage you today, make sure at the end of your day, or at the beginning of your day, or in the middle of your day, doesn't matter when the day starts, make sure that the fruit that you produce is after its own kind, because of the faith that you have. Remember, faith, it is a substance. It is a substance. If you look at those clouds behind me, they're nice and puffy. It's an amazing day. Yes, from a science perspective, that's from evaporation. That up there is condensation because of the water vapor in the air. They cause those clouds. When they get real heavy, you know what happens? They come down. The rain, again, is a result of the substance of the water vapors that are in the air. When you're joy, you're happy, all of that is a substance, it's a seed. And the action that you take is because you believe, okay? So you will have the faith, but you have to take action. If you don't take action, well, you don't have the seed, because the seed will produce after its own kind. Does that make sense? All right. Lastly, I want to invite you to join me again. Join me on my podcast. I'm out there. I am listening. I am ready. That's the name of the podcast. Find it out there. I am out there at Anchor. You can find it on Anchor / I am listening. I'm ready. It's out there. It's on Spotify. It's out there on Apple. It's out there on Google Podcasts. You can find it. It's some great stuff we're talking about. Real conversation. Find me out there on social media. I'm out there on Instagram, which is Andrew Guy Speaks. I'm out there on Twitter, Andrew Guy Speaks. I am out there on LinkedIn, Andrew Guy Speaks. I am out there on Facebook. That's the only place I'm different. What's me? What's my name? Okay, here's where it's different. So Andrew E. Guy Speaks. That's the only place it's different. But if you try all of those and you just can't find me, you can run over to Amazon and you'll find me, Amazon.com, and you'll see my books. Work Your Words, Finding Your Pathway to Personal Success, The Anatomy of the Kingdom, Exchanging Religion for a Life of Function and Purpose. And you can also find me right at home. Where is that? Come and knock on the front door. www.andrewguyspeaks.com. That's where I live. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing opportunity to come and talk to you about those 5 life skills that you need to apply in your life. If you need help, if you need coaching, if you're going through things that you just need help with, hey, get over there to andrewguyspeaks.com, scroll down, click on my calendar, and then get some help. Get some help. All right?